so the next little piece to this, so the directions are to write a quadratic equation in standard form with the given solutions. Okay, so I'm going to give you solutions and you're going to need to write the quadratic equation. So here's the first one that I have. So my two solutions are 4i and negative 4i. And so we kind of want to go, kind of revert back, maybe even work a little bit backwards. That might be helpful. So think about it, that you get x equals 4i and also negative 4i, but let's go with the 4i. So if I square both sides to make it quadratic, I will have x squared equals, that's going to be 16i squared. And we know that I squared can be replaced with a negative 1, so I'll get x squared equals negative 16. Now, truly, I mean, this is a quadratic equation, but it's not in standard form. So that's the key word here, is that it needs to be in standard form. So that means I need to have ax squared plus bx plus c equals 0. So I will have x squared plus 16 equals 0. And that is now written in standard form. And you can always double check and make sure that your equation is correct by going through and solving it, and just to make sure that you get 4i and negative 4i. So we kind of had to work backwards a little bit there. Okay, let's look at another one that we have here. So number 2 here, I have 3i square root of 2 all over 2 and negative 3i square root of 2 all over 2. So one thing that we can kind of look at a little bit in working backwards is obviously the one big thing, trigger, I guess you could say, that I have is I see a square root of 2 and I see a 2. So obviously there had to have been a square root of 2 in the denominator, right? Okay. And so x equals something over square root of 2. Seeing this 3i, I know that 3i squared would give me a negative 9i, okay? Or, I mean, not negative a 9i, I'm sorry. It would give me a 9i squared, which would be a negative 9. I kind of joined those two thoughts in my brain just now. So then, what we would need to think is, because like we would have had, the square root of negative 9 to get me my 3i. And then obviously the square root of 2 that we would have had to end up rationalizing. Okay, so then let's say we would square both sides to get my x squared. So I get x squared, and that equals, and then that would give me negative 9 over 2. Okay. Hopefully you're following me, or it's making sense. So like I am working backwards. I'm having to use a little bit of critical thinking here, that obviously 3i would have been the square root of negative 9. Seeing the square root of 2 over 2, that obviously there needed to be a square root of 2 in the denominator. And when you square it all, that removes the square root here, and then that gets me my quadratic term. Now also thinking, I can multiply both sides by 2. Okay, working backwards, to get our original equation. So I get 2x squared, and that equals negative 9. Now it's not in standard form just yet, so I will need to move the 9 over. So I get 2x squared plus 9 equals 0. So that ends up being my my quadratic equation in standard form. And again, like I said in the last one, go about, solve this. Make sure you get 3i squared root of 2 over 2 if you're ever unsure about, ooh, did I work backwards correctly? I mean, I have to do this stuff all the time myself, just to make sure that I followed everything, that I remembered everything, that I pieced all of the puzzle together. And that actually concludes this video.